What's going on, guys? I am back on the tube of you. And today we are going to be talking about Gamebred boxing this weekend. It's going to be Anthony Showtime Pettis, Roy Jones Jr. in the main event. And honestly, I don't care how old these guys are. I don't care what sport they originally come from. I could care less. I am excited to see it. So, before I get into this breakdown, make sure you go and hit that subscribe button, the like button, and leave me a comment and let me know who you guys think is going to win these fights. So the first one I'm going to go into is the main event. Roy Jones Jr. and Anthony Showtime Pettis. Now, Roy Jones Jr. was last seen in the ring a few years ago. I think it was December of 2020, off the top of my head, in an exhibition fight against Iron Mike Tyson. It's kind of interesting that he's now stepping into this crossover boxing scene because on that very card is when Jake Paul knocked out Nate Robinson and the whole Jake Paul craze really began. But, yeah, guys, Roy Jones Jr. in his prime was one of the most athletically gifted guys that's ever put on gloves. He was a freak athlete. His speed was ridiculous. He could throw a lead hook, and it was just as fast as his jab. He had power in both hands. He's one of the most joyous people to watch. I have so much fun watching Roy Jones Jr. fights. But now we are years and years and years removed from his prime, like a long, long time removed from his prime. In the fight against Mike, he looked in decent shape for his age, but I don't know. Apparently, he's been training pretty hard for the last few months leading up to this fight, according to Jorge Masvidal, and apparently he's in great shape and he's ready to go, which I'm excited to see him in an actual fight again. And he's going against Anthony Showtime Pettis. Showtime has he's had a bumpy road lately. He lost a few fights in the PFL. His UFC career didn't go as planned towards the end. There was a time where Anthony Pettis was at the top of the lightweight division. But the good thing is Anthony Pettis is an amazing striker. He's the only person to ever knock out Stephen Wonderboy Thompson on the feet. He's a great athlete in his own right. And he's significantly younger than Roy Jones Jr., even though Anthony Pettis is also on the older side now. Pettis, coming from MMA, will give an awkward look probably to Roy Jones. I think the skill set of Roy Jones and the youth of Anthony Pettis kind of balance out. But Roy Jones Jr. has had a questionable chin in the latter years of his career. He's a much older man now. Anthony Pettis can crack. We all know that. And Anthony Pettis can crack under pressure. We all know that. There's been several fights where he's gotten overwhelmed. So I think this fight ends one of two ways. I think either in the later rounds, Roy starts walking him down and just putting it on him, and the pressure becomes too much, and Anthony Pettis goes down. Or Anthony Pettis' speed is too much for Roy Jones Jr. at this stage in his career to deal with, and Anthony Pettis ends the show early. I don't see this fight going the distance, because from what I understand, it's an actual fight, not an exhibition. That's what I understand. If I'm wrong about that, then maybe my opinion would change, but I think if this fight is a fight, I don't see it going the distance either way. Now, I do think Roy has a lot more versatility within the realm of a boxing fight, but I am going to go with Anthony Showtime Pettis by knockout. I think Pettis in Milwaukee, he's going to be ready to go. I think that the speed's going to be too much for Roy. I think Anthony's going to be fast. He's going to be powerful. He's going to be bigger. So I think that I'm rolling with Anthony Pettis by knockout. It's sad to see for Roy because we all know Roy in his prime wouldn't even it wouldn't even be close to a competition if he fought any MMA fighter. Roy Jones Jr. is hands down one of the greatest boxers of all time, and this has no hindrance on his legacy whatsoever. But I am taking Anthony Pettis by knockout. We also have a fight between Jacare Souza and Vitor Belfort, another two MMA guys. I love to see the MMA guys boxing each other. I think it brings a new level, a new narrative for these guys when they're going into a fight. It's always fun. Even on the UFC video games, they got stand and bang mode. That's always funner. So it's going to be cool. Jacare Souza's boxing in his prime was underrated. I think most people get not carried away, but they get distracted by how great he was as far as his grappling prowess. I can't speak for shit in this video, huh? But yeah, he has great grappling, so people don't really focus on his boxing. But he showed some really good boxing in the Chris Weidman fight, and I'm pretty sure he knocked Chris Weidman out. But I just remember in that fight thinking, he has some pretty clean boxing. Vitor Belfort is on all the stuff again, and we know that makes for a dangerous man. Jacare Souza looks significantly slower towards the end of his UFC tenure. So for that fight, I'm definitely going to be taking Vitor Belfort by knockout. Moving on to the final fight I'm going to be talking about off this card, the one I am most excited for by far, Jose Aldo Jr. versus Jeremy Lil Heathen Stevens. 2. One in MMA and now one in boxing. The last time these guys fought was in a mixed martial arts bout. Jeremy Stevens was actually on the run of his career, and a win over Jose Aldo would have probably secured him a title shot at that point. He was on a run, knocking out guys like Doo Ho Choi, knocking out guys like Josh Emmett, and Jose Aldo was really starving for a win after 2 straight losses to Max Holloway, a loss to Conor McGregor. They were at a different, kind of tier in his career, and it was going to be either, was Jeremy going to climb the mountain and get to the title shot finally after all these years, and is Jose Aldo done, or is Jose Aldo still that guy? And we found out in the fight that Jose Aldo was in fact still that guy. Jeremy got hit with a mean body shot by Jose, shut the liver down, and that was all she wrote. It was pretty early. I can't remember if it was in the first or second round. I really don't remember. I haven't watched the fight in a long time. So the interesting thing is that the fight ended in a boxing sequence. Jose Aldo, towards the latter half of his career, was certainly more of a traditional boxer than he was early in his career. And he hit Jeremy with a mean body shot. He threw a little feint, came across, boom, and Jeremy went down. Jose Aldo just recently debuted in boxing. Pretty sure he took the W. So he's even had talks of maybe doing an exhibition with Mayweather, which I'm okay with. I like the exhibitions that Floyd's been doing. I just don't like some of the opponents he's picking. But if he wants to fight a guy like Jose Aldo, let's go. I think that while Jeremy hits very hard, I think the skill is just so much more in the favor of Aldo. Aldo knows how to mix it into the body, mix it into the head. He has great head movement. He has a good guard. Jeremy Stevens is more so focused on just hooks and big shots. He doesn't really have the cleanest, pure boxing. So I'm going to say Jose Aldo finishes the fight once again. Wouldn't it be something if he finished him with the same body shot? That'd be cool. But yeah, I got Jose Aldo by knockout in this fight. I got Vitor Belfort by knockout, and I got Showtime Pettis by knockout. All finishes. Let me know in the comments who you guys think is going to win these 3 fights. Are you going to be watching this? Are these guys too old and washed for you? Let me know. But since I'm a fan of influencer boxing and I'm a fan of watching people who I know fight, I'm a fan of walking down the street and watching the grannies fight down the street over the last shopping cart. You know what I'm saying? I just am a fan of this shit, guys. So I'm definitely going to be tuning in. Make sure you come back. Probably tomorrow I'm going to drop another video. Stay tuned for that. But yeah, guys, hit that subscribe button. Love y'all.